You are in the dungeons of the Emirati intelligence. This was the first thing I heard when I set foot in the dark prison, as we used to call it. And it was the beginning of a series of torments we did not expect. It was shocking to hear the sounds of torture in a country that fascinates the world with its fancy pictures and bright colors. The sounds of torture that greeted you in the security prisons in Abu Dhabi told of horror that was coming without you knowing what it was. Like all those taken to the security prisons, I saw nothing but the walls of my cell. I was always blindfolded and shackles on my hands and feet that paralyzed me. The first slap took me by surprise, then followed various forms of torments, from beatings and punches to undressing and threats of rape. And here I am, having a new life but with bad memories about what happened there. So it's my duty to tell the story of those who cried out in agony. In Arazin prison, I remember the patient Muhammad Darwish, who had to endure several operations during his imprisonment, and how his health deteriorated due to constant torture. In the dark prison, he was beaten with clubs for weeks. I also remember Ahmed al-Hammadi, who suffered the same kind of torture and perhaps more. And I will not forget the torture of a very well-known man with his unique asceticism in Dubai, Sheikh Khalid Kalantar. They burned his beard. They harmed him in the same way of what they did to his inmates in the prison, insulting him and preventing him from sleeping and beating him directly on his back while he is over the age of 60. The death sentence struck, the worst kind of torture used by security officials on an American Libyan man. They told him, "You have been sentenced to death." Then they took him blind-flooded to the desert to execute the alleged sentence. After putting him on his knees for hours, they told him the sentence have been delayed. All this injustice leads us to an important question. If these people are guilty with proof, as the authorities claimed, why are they being tortured to make them confess to something they didn't do? First and foremost, the UAE authorities should be asked about the reason for the existence of secret prisons set up to hide human rights violations. And if they claim that they do not torture detainees, why do they put them in secret prisons for years? This is just a small part of the suffering of detainees in the UAE. And what is not mentioned is worse and more dangerous.